Hey everyone, we are live on BROfessor and Friends. Thank you for joining us. Hey guys, thanks for joining us live here on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for being here. There's 1,000 different places you could be, but you chose to be here. And we are just starting off. So I know people will trickle in, but as you trickle in, we want to remind you that this is a completely interactive and intuitive radio show. So comment with your questions and comments, and we will get you on the show and answer them the best that we possibly can. I have with me my friends this evening, Cody and Kelly from Dome Life. Thank you for joining us.
Howdy, everybody.
They are down in Texarkana where it's nice and cool. Everything's peachy, just like fall, and they're just having a good time outside. Almost chilly. I'm surprised you don't have a coat on out there.
Oh, it feels great. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, I can imagine that South Arkansas summer is pretty toasty down there. You don't get much wind. You get a whole lot of sun, and
a lot of humidity.
You just bake in the humidity. That's what we do here in Arkansas in the summer. So introduce yourselves. Pretend like we have no idea who you are, and introduce yourselves, and tell us a little bit about how Dome Life started and what you're all about.
You want to take it?
Well, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Cody. We're married.
We've been married for 12 years. And we started camping every weekend. How long ago?
In 2016, May of 2016, I took Kelly out on her first trip. And it was just a day trip because she didn't like anything outside the first 10 years we were together. And I couldn't even get her to go down a dirt road. So then I eventually convinced her to go to a river that had blue water, and she was like, I can swim in that? I was like, yeah. She says, can we come back next weekend? I was like, yeah. And then she said, well, let's do it. And then every time after that, camping every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. That's cool. Yeah. Very cool. So tell us how, why start, and what would you call it? An organization, a group? I know you have a group out there on Facebook that people can be a member of and post things and different things like that. I know you have a website. So what would you consider yourselves? An organization? I know you do different meetups and things like that. So tell us a little bit about the Dome Life.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call it, but we started doing the cleanups because we noticed every weekend going camping, anytime we picked a different camp spot, there was just trash everywhere. In the fire pits, all around camp. So we started picking up the trash at camp. And then I was like, we should do something where we get a bunch of people together and we do cleanups for different parks or recreational areas. So that's where we started on the cleanup side. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know.
Then we started the merchandise side to help fund the cleanups. Then after we had the merchandise side, we started posting more and more pictures of Arkansas, showing people how to camp. And then we started the YouTube channel to kind of let people really be engulfed with us because they didn't understand that we were having such a good time doing our cleanups, having such a good time going camping every weekend. And we wanted to actually take people along with us. So we started the YouTube channel. The cleanup side of it continues. We've had a couple of hard times here lately because of rain. We had to cancel quite a few cleanups because of, how Arkansas is in spring. It rains a lot.
Yeah.
But the group page you were talking about was a complete accident, really. I was on Facebook looking at our page, and I saw a group page, and I was like, what is this about? Said Dome Life, World from a Tent, just as a place saver. And then I was like, well, I don't really know if I want to start a group page. I'll just leave it be, because I didn't know how to delete it. And 6 months later, someone asked to join. And I was like, okay. And then after that, more and more people started joining. And then everybody that watches our YouTube channel started coming over. And then they started sharing their adventures and asking questions. And it just became a family on that side. So I've even toyed with the idea of changing it from World from a Tent to Dome Life Family, in a sense, just because we've become kind of like a large family in that community.
Yeah, you're right. I've noticed there's several thousand people on there. It's very active. People post on there all the time. It's a really neat place for people to go, and a great community to be a part of. I think it's great that y'all do the cleanups and stuff. I see that Brandon Waters is on here. Brandon, we're thinking about you. You know your wife's about to have that little baby boy. Wish you all the best. I know he's been out with you. Yeah, I know he's been out with you on some cleanups and stuff. So that's good. That's one thing that we don't have enough of is people that are doing projects and stuff like that. Is that a big part of who you are? Is that one of the main things that you stress and with the Dome Life?
It is. And going forward, now that we've become full time, we're definitely going to ramp up our cleanup activity. Our goal is to start hosting cleanups. We've been hosting city cleanups in Little Rock nonstop every Tuesday, but with us leaving, we're going to kind of back off on that, and we're going to start between now and October. When we come back to Arkansas, we're going to start having cleanups outside of the state of Arkansas. We're going to have one, and then when we come back in October, we're going to host a cleanup, and then we'll be gone for a few months after October, host a cleanup somewhere in the southeast, we hope, to connect with somebody, and then come back in the late winter and host another cleanup in Arkansas. Just about every 3 months or so is our game plan to come back and host one in Arkansas, and in between host one outside of the state.
That's cool. Bats Off Road said he's glad that he sees that I'm feeling better. For those of y'all who haven't followed my story in the last week, I actually had sinus surgery a week ago, and it was probably the most miserable week in my whole life. But Monday, when he pulled the splints out and took the stitches out, it was like I can breathe better than I've ever breathed in 40 years. I've been putting that surgery off because of the horror stories I've heard about it, but I finally decided to do it. And let me tell you, it was worth every minute. If you've ever thought about doing it, if you can't breathe, get it done. I promise you, it's worth it.
Sounds needed, but it sounds painful.
Yeah.
Well, it was horrible. He took out a part of my nose, sewed 2 pieces of plastic together all the way up into my sinuses, and it felt like a huge amount of pressure. But as soon as he took those splints out, it was incredible. So, Bats, I appreciate you thinking about me. Ronnie says, "Can you come to West Virginia? We're dirty." You're not the only. You're not the only place, buddy. You're not the only place.
We'll definitely be heading that way.
That's good. I spend a lot of time out in West Virginia. The Appalachians are a place that a lot of people really don't think about when they think about going. They always think about going west, but man, there's some cool places out east. Looks like Don Dietz is on here. Hey, Cody and Kelly, can't wait for your new adventure. I want to talk about your new adventure here in just a second, but first of all, let's pause for station identification and a word talk about our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's Adam. It's Step 22 Gear.
Yeah, I got it. All right, you ready?
Hey guys, this is Frankie from Overland Rentals.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah from Overland Pioneer.
This is Aaron from ARTEMIS.
I'm Tyler with Yoda Adventure.
Hi, we're Jessica and Jorge of Live Wonder.
Hey, this is Aaron from Artemis Overland Hardware.
It's Jeff with Bad Egg Adventure Co.
I'm Aaron with Switchback Outdoor Safety.
It's Chris from More Expo.
And you are watching BROfessor.
BROfessor.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
And Friends.
That's always fun, getting everybody to do that everywhere I go. So let's talk about why the go in full time. Is this something that you've wanted to do for a long time? What made you make this decision?
Well, we have been talking about it jokingly for about a year. And in January, we really got to thinking about it. I was calculating finances, and I was like, I think we could really do it. We needed to acquire a couple more things before we went full time. And then it really just kind of all fell in our lap. He had an acquaintance that we had an old shower tube that we built that was on top of the Hummer, and we ended up acquiring a Jolka hot water shower system, so we could get rid of the other shower. And he took it over to his acquaintance that he knows, and he was like, "Hey, how's Dumb Life doing? You know, what's going on?" And he was like, "Well, we're kind of thinking about, selling everything and just living on the road." And he was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Okay, that's really cool." We went camping that weekend. Sunday, we get back, we get service. And this guy had messaged Cody several times and was like, "Hey, if you're wanting to sell your house, my girlfriend is actually looking to buy a house." And we were like, okay.
And the other kicker is that she worked for the real estate industry where she writes up contracts. So we didn't have to have a real estate agent involved. So we were out of pocket. We've calculated, I think only $300.
Yeah, that was all.
All our closing costs. And
Wow.
we were like, let's do it. And we went, we got a large profit from it really because of the way houses are selling right now.
Yeah.
We were thinking if we don't do it now, we might not ever get that much for that house.
Well, and just the way that it all kind of fell into place, like our house was not on the market. Nobody else really knew we were even thinking about doing this. And that was on a Sunday. They came and looked at the house on Tuesday, and she loved it. He loved it. So I think we signed the contract
that following Thursday. And then she went to work that Thursday after signing and says, "Does anybody want to buy a Mustang?" Because she drove a 2013 Mustang that's been paid for years.
It's been paid for about 3-4 years. And I was just joking. I was like, "Anybody want to buy a Mustang?" And one of the girls was like, "I might want to." I was like, "Are you kidding?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, don't feel pressured or anything." She was like, "No, really, my husband has been looking for a Mustang."
So we ended up closing on the house and selling the Mustang on the exact same day.
Wow.
And the reason, though, that we even wanted to live this lifestyle is we started only coming home to work. That was or to work and to pay for a house that we were never in. So every time we would take a 2-week trip or go across country, we were never ready to come home. And then when we'd come home, we would work and we're already ready to go back out camping.
Yep.
So whenever all this kind of fell into our lap, we were like, let's go for it. And especially with how well YouTube has been doing it, it helped out so much. And then the way that the cleanups and the community, we just thought we had so many people supporting us and behind us. And now we just thought we need to try this if we're ever going to get to try it, because one day we're going to look back and we're going to regret not doing this if we decide to play it safe and do the 9 to 5. And we just wanted to take a risk and see. And we're scared right now, I'll be honest.
Well, and we just enjoy camping so much. I would rather be outside than in my house. I don't know. I love it so much that I wanted to, I guess, live that way. I know it's crazy, but.
Yeah. And then you realize when you have no debt that you don't need much to live. And when you don't, we're not materialistic really. We just fix what we have and we don't acquire more things and we don't have credit cards. We don't have anything else. So.
Well, and then selling our house, we were able to pay off a little bit of debt that we did have. So, it all just kind of fell into place, and it was just like, do it.
The sign
last night we had on a different couple that does this full time. They've been doing this full time for a couple years. They're on Instagram and YouTube as The Day We Make. But they have a completely different story about how they did it. They spent years in the military, both retired, and now they're out living on the road. They have military retirement income. So we had a whole lot of questions to them about how are you able to do this? Because there's a lot of people that are out there that want to do this. They love this lifestyle. They want to do this full time, but yet it was really kind of hard to relate to them because a lot of people have not been are not in that position. They're still young. You're not old enough to retire, so they were old enough to retire. But your story is completely different from them. So your story is going to be very inspirational to those that are out there who are wanting to do this, that are wanting to take this step. And like you said, yeah, it's scary. But if you don't do it now, you may lose out on that opportunity and spend the rest of your life in regret. So that's great to hear. I know we're going to have a lot of questions out there because I know Matt and Kara are on here, and they're thinking about doing this full time here pretty quick. So that's what would you say to someone out there that's in your position, that's close to your age, that's thinking about this? As far as the not having any debt, how just taking this plunge, what would you say to that person who's thinking about doing that?
Well, the income aspect of it, I guess that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Because with us having a YouTube channel, that's basically our income.
Right.
Even though we sold the house and sold my car, we spent a lot of money trying to fix the Hummer.
Our vehicle, yeah. And
so we're not trying to touch the rest of that money. That's kind of like our safety net. So we're just living off the YouTube income.
And then with our merchandise sales, we don't even touch the merchandise sales. The merchandise sales isn't a part of our income. It goes back into trying to expand the products and actually use a portion of that to still buy cleaning supplies and food at these events.
Right.
And that's going forward. So really, we're just off of YouTube and in the support of our Patreons. That's another big one. If it wasn't for our Patreons, that would be another scary aspect. Right. But
so I don't know anybody that's our age. I'm sure they're going to have a different income source. So that would depend on making the decision to go full time or not.
The other thing is debt, like you were talking about, but then also not going out to want to acquire more things. Right. We're on a budget. We're not buying a new vehicle. We're not,
trying not to.
Yeah, we're not. We're trying not to. We don't know how long our.
We got to get around.
We're just going to try to drive this H3 into the ground. But
and that's a big deal, because when you live full time out of your vehicle is very important, and so you have to think about that. That's one of the things that you have to think about. I'm not sitting on a $900 a month payment for the next 7 years. On a 2021 Tundra or something like that. That makes a big difference if you're having to pay that huge payment or insurance or anything like that. If you get it paid off and it's running good, then hey, that's a big factor in that decision.
And I do want to add that over the last 4 years, as we camped more, we spent less time worrying about things at the home. So we didn't really do anything for the home. We just kept paying off debt instead, not really thinking that this was the end goal. So as you continue to pay off the debt, that's the key. No debt to be able to do this, because if something happens, let's say YouTube crashes or something happens, we have our safety net and we have some kind of security. That's what gives us a little hope in taking this leap. So if we have to plug ourselves back into the 9 to 5, I can go back with my degree and get an accounting job. She's already said that she can be hired back at her employer that she just gave her 2 months notice to.
Yeah.
So doing that is making sure you have no debt. That's the key. And it took us 4 years to pay off the debt before we did this leap. We wouldn't do this if we had a lot of debt. Trust us.
Well,
we wouldn't.
And I think that if you already have all of the camping supplies or gear that you need, that's also less money you would have to spend, because if you think you want to do the lifestyle but you don't have all the stuff, you're going to end up spending money right off the bat just to buy everything that you need.
Yeah. Well, you stated a key word there is need. There's a lot of gear out there that people buy that they don't need. They spend a whole lot of money on this. Overlanding lifestyle is very popular right now, and people are paying astronomical prices for things that they don't need. and it puts them in a bind. I have noticed on your videos, you don't live extravagantly. You don't have a $5,000 rooftop tent and everything that you could possibly get off Artemis's website. I mean, you live very simply. You're very simple people, and I think that's a big part of you being able to do this.
It is. We've had a lot of people say you need to buy a winch or you need to buy a recovery Trax or something along those lines. And my only answer is my vehicle is my main means of transportation, and it always has been. And I don't want to take the risk of having to pay money to fix it if I break, or pay for a tow to get me unstuck, or to, pay for the equipment in the first place. So those are all things I'm trying to avoid by just knowing my boundaries on going off-road. I don't push the limits. If there's a hole, like with the rock bottom, I'll go out there with a stick and I'll touch the bottom. If it goes too deep, now we're turning around. But if it's a rock bottom and the water will come up to the door, I'm fine. I feel confident with that. So I always test everything and I don't just go for it. So.
Everywhere that we've ever been, we've never needed any of that stuff. So, and then I think, like you said, if the terrain is that bad, I'm like, I don't even want to test it.
She gets real emotional the few times I have.
Because I mean, like we said, that is our only means of transportation, and I don't want to.
We've had some times where we took trails when we first started. We bought the H3 back in 2010. We've had it that long, and the whole time we never had a problem. Knock on wood. And we did, right when we started going out to the Ouachitas, we did have some times where we were sliding down the side of the mountains, and I was like barely hitting on the brakes, had it in drive one all the way back, trying to keep the gear low, and she was like panicking. And it's very stressful, not fun to go off-roading with her when she gets panicked. So I just make sure she's comfortable, or just tell her to step outside the vehicle.
So it's better for me sometimes if I get out, because I can see what the truck's doing, and I'm like, oh, it's not really that bad.
There's a lot of times from the outside, it doesn't look near as bad as when you're sitting in the passenger seat. I can definitely tell you that. We had that conversation last night. If I'm driving to Colorado and going to do some, Imogene Pass and Engineers Pass and all, I've always got it in the back of my mind. I have to drive home. I'm 1,000 miles away. I've got to drive home. So, like I said, if you're living in that vehicle, you've always got to remind yourself, this is my solo means of transportation, and don't put yourself in a position that you can't get out of, and you won't break anything, and life will be so much better. So that's why you've got the bicycles, right? If you want to do something treacherous, get on the bikes and go test it out.
Because all I have to do is just carry that back to the truck, tie it down, and I still have some way to leave where I was to get it repaired.
There you go. Well, that's really cool. I'm glad that it's got a lot of comments on here. People are excited to see that y'all are actually taking this plunge, and you've got a lot of support out there. A lot of people are saying that they are your Patreons, and they do support you, and want to see you succeed, and love watching your videos, and can't wait to see what you've got going on in the future. So tell us, you're down visiting family right now. Where are you headed from here? And what's in the near future for Dome Life?
So from here, we're going to head straight to Santa Fe, New Mexico, spend a couple of days in that area. And then the goal is just to end up in Glacier National Park around end of July, August. And we want to spend some time in Idaho as well.
And when we get up to the Idaho, Montana area around that time, we're going to ask the audience of YouTube, do y'all have a location that you'd like to see us host a cleanup or maintenance on some kind of trail? And that's going to be the event that we were talking about between October, when we come back to Arkansas for a month, and now. So each time we go out of state, we're going to ask, hey, where would y'all like to see us host a cleanup at or an event? And then something that we noticed when we did Mount Nebo recently, back in March, I think April, we had a cleanup we were going to do up there, and it just rained nonstop all day, and we canceled it. And we actually had people coming up, and they were walking through the rain to meet us because they were coming to meet us and be at the event. And we were like feeling so bad because we just like nixed it. So because of that, we decided that if that does happen going forward, we're going to have a backup plan of a location for a meet and greet. So we're always going to have a meet and greet where we'll still serve food if the weather's bad, or we'll go ahead and do the cleanup. So that's going to be going forward. And then after, I guess I already told you what we're doing after Montana. We're coming back in October here. So.
Yeah, so we'll be back in Arkansas in October for the whole month. And then beginning in November, we're going to host an event in Little Rock.
Oh,
Fall into nature.
That's another thing I wanted to talk about is in 2019, we hosted an amazing event, and we did a video of it, and I love it. It was called Fall into Nature with Dome Life and the Nature Conservancy, and we hosted it at Rattlesnake Ridge in West Little Rock. And we did 2 weeks worth of planning and had over 300 people attend. And this event was amazing. We had lead hikes, lead mountain bike rides. We had a kayak. Sam with Rocktown River Outfitters came to the pond and allowed people to kayak for free. And this whole event was free. There was people teaching snake smarts. There was people teaching how to cook in Dutch ovens. There was rock painting for kids. And we couldn't host it last year because of the pandemic. But this year, we're going to do that again at November 6th. And we're working on a location now with the Nature Conservancy. It's going to be a different location in Little Rock, hopefully. Everything seems like it's going well. But we're going to take it to the next level where we have a section where we're going to bring in other YouTubers that are outdoor related or podcast or whatever kind of activity they have and allow them to communicate with the people that come to the event and share their stories and say, help bring I ramble sometimes trying to get my words right.
I'm right there with you.
Try to get people involved with their social media platforms. And then we're also going to try to get an overlanding group. We're going to try to get a rock climbing group. I want to get the Arkansas Game and Fish because I focused this time to make sure that this event was the weekend before modern gun season. Because of modern gun season, we had a lot of people not attend. So we want to make sure that we have that open for more people like the Arkansas Game and Fish to talk about fishing or hunting. So we want all these different things. So when the people come to the event, they're able to talk to people about things that they might have been interested in. So we're working on that one for November 6th.
Cool. That'll be a perfect weekend because that is the weekend before modern gun season opens in Arkansas, which is the most popular weekend in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So that'll be a perfect weekend. Everything sounds like it's everything outdoors. So it's it'll be a little something for everybody. So Don says you had me at Dutch oven cooking. Caught my attention on that one too. Matt said sign us up. So a lot of people interested in that. I think that'll be a great event to have something different. It's a lot like when Chris had the big Iron Overland rally in Kansas. It was something completely different. I think people are looking for that. They're looking for something a little bit different to go to, educational, entertaining, a little something for everybody. And I think people will be drawn to that. I think you've got something pretty cool in mind for that. Man, I'm so excited for you about taking this leap. I can't imagine being nervous about this. It makes me nervous for you because I haven't put myself in a position to be able to do this. I've still got several years down the road before I would be able to do something like this, and it's amazing to see somebody as young as you with a life ahead of you that's going to take advantage of this. Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
Well, we do want to end up coming back to Arkansas, and we want to buy property. So I want to build a tiny home.
Yeah, we've already been looking for property out in the Ouachitas as we speak, and she's already been watching a lot of YouTube videos of tiny homes constantly.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. We also want to keep traveling and doing the YouTube channel. We want to try to make it to Mexico, the Baja Peninsula. We want to go up into Canada. We just want to see how far we can go with it. And we want to expand the cleanups. We actually want to build a community to where we can actually have satellite groups of people hosting cleanups across the country, is so that we can build that as well. That's one of our big goals down the road.
I think that's something that's badly needed. I think several people have tried to do that. I know Overland Bound has tried to do that and succeeded a little bit. But I think y'all are perfect for this. This seems to be your niche, and I really hope that works out because that's definitely something that's badly needed. I know around Arkansas, my wife and I try to go out, especially around January and February after deer season is over. That seems to be the worst time after all the deer camps have moved out, and everybody that has been camping for weeks on end in one particular spot has vacated. It seems like everything just seems to be trash. So that's great that you're doing this. I really hope that works out, especially all over the country, because that's something that we see all the time. It wasn't very long ago that a whole national forest closed down just because they didn't have people to keep up with the way that everybody had trashed the area. So I think that's something that's really good that we definitely need. The tiny house, man. One of the things that I was doing last week when I was able to do nothing but sit in the chair, I binged watched a few things on Netflix, and they have a great tiny house show on there, and we got to see people try it out for the first time, and I think this lifestyle is perfect for people that want to try the tiny house thing. I mean, if you can live in a tent or live in your car, I think you could live in a tiny house. I think it fits perfect. So
yeah, we think we can do it.
We've gotten rid of so much stuff that I guess we don't really have that much.
No, we don't. Her brother got everything out of our house when we moved out. Yeah. Like we gave Jonathan all our furniture.
He got basically all of the furniture.
All our kitchen dishes. The only things that like we're taking with us right now is that's different is some workout stuff because we want to try to stay in shape, and we what else are we taking? Clothes, different range of clothes because there's so much weather variations from say the Rockies down to Florida. We want to make sure we're prepared for whatever kind of weather, and we have a lot of
taking a Ninja blender.
Ninja blender.
We like to drink protein shakes, so
yeah. She found a spot for that because we got a no-bow trailer last minute, and we've packed that up with everything. And matter of fact, that's been a question a lot of people have been asking us: why did we go with a no-bow trailer instead of getting like a utility trailer just to store our stuff in? Mm-hmm. And we actually were looking at utility trailers, and we went down when we were originally going to work with a friend of ours to build a trailer, and we had everything going and we have the BOM done, but we ran into an issue of trying to find someone in the country that could bend aluminum. We gave out quotes. We had some people come back to us. Some people just didn't have the ability to know how not to make aluminum fracture under stress and just be able to bend it. So we're still looking for that, but that we found that out on when we were in Florida. And we had 3 weeks left to move out of our house and find a trailer. And so on our way back, we're like, let's check out utility trailers. Well, we were in Mobile, Alabama, and found a utility trailer company. And we opened up the back door of that thing and about knocked us out from the heat. And we were thinking, if we've got tents and we've got all this gear in there,
good stuff, we don't want it to get ruined.
Yeah, because heat can affect your camping gear. We needed something that had some insulated walls. And then we were thinking, we don't have time, if we did buy this, to lift it up to be able to go off-road where we go. We don't have time. And if we did, to vent fan, and if we did lift it up, it would be taller than the Hummer and create a drag when it's coming down the road, and then it hit limbs and be harder to get in tight spots. And the final thing was a water tank and, a cooler, because our Alpi-Cool
went out that week in Florida. So we would have to buy another refrigerator, which we were going to get a Dometic, and those were like $800 to $1,500.
So we ended up finding a great deal
in Hot Springs on the No Boundaries trailer. It already had a Dometic cooler, had a 30-gallon water tank. It was insulated. It was high clearance, and you found out that it was the axle.
Oh, it does have. It's a single axle, but it does have independent.
Yes,
right. That comes off of it. So all that and it was half the price of it being new, and it only had 500 miles because the owner of the place, it was her son-in-law that was wanting to upgrade to another model. So we just found this
deal. It was a really good deal.
And
it was a really good deal.
We only had 3 weeks, so we're like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And we just drove right back the next day and picked it up, and we've fallen in love with it. We do have some issues right now. We're trying to pan out. We're having some weight issues, and
we haven't weighed it yet, but we're pretty sure that were probably overweight. So
Just a
that's
hair.
another reason why I'm glad we're here at my parents' house, is so we can unpack everything, get rid of some stuff, repack it, and then we're going to take it down the road and weigh it before we head out.
Because we didn't have the opportunity to pack it properly at our house because we had a really steep driveway. We left the trailer at my mom's constantly, and we had to take everything over there the last day, and we didn't know how to pack it or anything.
Right. But you do plan on taking this with you. This is going to be a consistent part of your travel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's what Kara was asking, if you were planning on staying inside of it at all, or you planning on just keep tenting it?
There's no way to stay in it.
Yeah, it's pretty much packed.
It's
full.
packed.
Oh, okay.
We're also going to, it has an AC unit on top. We're actually going to remove that and install a ventilation fan before we head out.
Because the only way to run that AC unit, which is a Dometic AC, is to be up to shore power. Well, 90% of the time, we're going to be out in the national forest without shore power. And we want to pull out the moisture to help protect our gear inside.
Right.
So having that little fan, we're going to install one here, hopefully. It's supposed to be coming in soon. And we'll sell the Dometic air conditioning. And I think shed another 60 pounds probably.
That's another thing, because that air conditioner weighs 50 to 60 pounds.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're never going to use it, then we should probably just
because
we've
stored our bikes inside as well and made a bike rack, because we've noticed when you go into bigger cities, it's very common, which it could still happen, but it's very common that people have a career out of just going behind people's cars with cable locks, stealing their bikes and going and selling them at a pawn shop. And we wanted to kind of out of sight, out of mind, keep them inside, and also to protect the components of the bikes. So we made a bike rack in there, and all of our camping stuff is in there as well. Yeah.
So y'all are still in the process of downsizing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we downsized another 3 hours yesterday.
Well, I think that's probably one of the hardest things for people that want to do this full time is finding out all the things that you can live without. And weight is a big issue, especially if I drive a Toyota FJ Cruiser, and it won't pull the hat off your head. So you gotta make sure that weight. I pull a trailer sometimes, and I've been going up some passes in Colorado where it just almost said, "Dad, I want to lay down and die. We're just not gonna make it."
We had that issue in the Ouachitas recently when we pulled that trailer.
Oh wow!
We had an issue, and it kind of got hot, and we were already at the top of a mountain. If anybody knows where Grindstone Mountain is, Crystal Grindstone by the Winona area, that's the first place we went after we moved. And climbing up the south side of that mountain, we had to go so slow pulling that because it was so bumpy. And it pulled it fine, but I was just holding it at 2,000 RPMs, but we were going like 10 miles per hour. So it was so hot and still on Sunday or Monday
every day
that it just overheated. And we got up to the top and we let it cool. And then on the way to Texarkana, we had no issues.
Interstate was no issues at all. But a lot of the weight that we're shedding is tools.
I got carried away, guys.
So he wanted to bring, because he does all of our bike mechanics, and he decided he wanted to bring all of that.
Not just that.
All of it.
I have it in our bike shop in the backyard. Well, we don't own it anymore, but I had a tool box back there, and it was full of Craftsman tools of all sorts of mechanic tools. And I'm like, babe, I'm taking everything in case we have any kind of problems. And I loaded that thing down, and it probably weighed 100 pounds. And I set it right in the back of that trailer, and I was happy. I was tickle pink. And I shedded that. It's gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave that here with her parents in Texarkana, and we've shedded that, and we've shedded some other things, and now we're getting back to the mindset of we just need what we need, kind of like when we were just tent camping out of the H3 by itself. We don't need all the tools. I was so adamant about doing my own mechanics and work on the road that I didn't think about weight, and this is something I'm learning, and because I thought it wouldn't make a big difference. Well, now I'm trying to get in the mindset that I just need the tools to fix it, to get me somewhere that has the tools to fix it, or just to get it working well enough to get me somewhere, because I don't need the extra weight, because then I'm going to cause more issues down the road, which is going to cost more money. So if I just cut out all that heavy weight, it will hopefully protect the life of a 250,000 mile engine and keep her going for a little bit.
Definitely. Well, that's cool. I would really encourage everybody to get out there and look for Dome Life on YouTube. Look for them on Instagram. I got it scrolling across the bottom what your website is, so make sure and look them up. We want to wish you all the best. Want to wish you the best. We're going to keep up with you. I want to encourage everybody to get out there and support you. I have always been a proponent of, if you're sitting there on YouTube and you're getting entertained and you're getting educated by these people that you're watching, they deserve some support. So get on that Patreon and support these guys. They're living the lifestyle that a lot of us really want to, and we need to support them doing that. I want to encourage everybody for doing that. So get out there and follow them along and see where they're going. And we really wish you all the best. We're going to keep up with you on all the social media and the YouTube, and really wish and I hope y'all have the life that you've always dreamed of having with this. Really do.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody being here. I want to thank my sponsors once again for helping us out: Action Trax, More EXPO, ARTEMIS, and Lensun for all your solar needs. We appreciate y'all being here. My name is BROfessor, and these are my friends. And y'all leave it better than you found it. We hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us.